Welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. My name is Bill Houston, and I'm a founder of CrowdMax, a crowdfunding marketing consulting agency. I'm excited to dive into a powerful conversation on social impact, affordable housing with Dr. Kanan Van Williams, Managing Director of ProActive Realty Group. Dr. Van Williams leads the charge in transforming properties into affordable, socially impactful housing that revitalizes communities and creates lasting change. Dr. Van, you want to introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Yes, hi, my name is Dr. Kanan Van Williams. As Mr. Bill stated, of the ProActive Realty Income Funds, Social Impact Funds, also a Reg C offering that we're rolling out, as well as author of two upcoming books on affordable housing investment, as well as social impact investing in affordable housing space, which is naturally occurring housing that we go in and revitalize, and you'll hear more about that in this segment.
Hey, Dr. Van, what are the key factors ProActive Realty Group considers when selecting a property for social impact affordable housing projects?
Our key factors are the level of community need, what's needed in that particular community, that it's an underserved community, the potential for significant social impact, the potential for affordability, and being able to pass those cost savings benefits on to the end user, which is our residents, not tenants. We call them residents. This is where they reside. This is their home, and this is the start of building something for the future that's sustainable and lasting.
Okay, great. What criteria do you use to determine whether a property is suitable for revitalization as opposed to new development?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question. So, and I'm referring to some of my notes here. A lot of information that I'd like to convey. Don't want to miss out on anything. So if you see me look a little bit, it's to the right or left. It's I'm referring to some of my notes. I get a little bit excited when talking about social impact in the affordable housing space or social impact period in general. Forgive me there. So our criteria for revitalization versus new development is where social impact affordable housing. What that means is naturally occurring housing. So housing, think of a boarded up apartment building that's multifamily. Think of an SRO that's being run poorly, that's in distress, that's in need of a lot of repairs. So that's kind of our criteria. Well, that is our criteria. And the revitalization is prioritized for properties where existing structures can be transformed in a way that preserves the cultural fabric of the community, minimizes displacement versus new development. So, and we have nothing against new development. However, we're in a time where affordable housing or attainable housing, as I like to refer to it, in a livable, you hear all this on the news about a livable wage. Well, people need a livable rent that they can afford. And for some of our manufactured home residents or clients, they need a livable price that they can purchase a brand new home, start generational wealth, begin to start something generational social impact, which is much more important than generational wealth, and be able to move forward and to live. So you'll hear a little bit later in this segment. You'll hear a little bit about differentiator, and so that's one of our differentiators is that we're able to provide affordable, attainable housing at a living rent within 60 to 90 days, 100 days max of we're able to get funds in the ground. So an investor comes in, whether it be an LP, myself as a GP, I have over 2.8 and change, 2.8 million invested across all of our funds. Next question, Mr. Bill.
Yes, I love that livable rent. I love that term. How does ProActive assess the specific needs of the communities in which you plan to develop or revitalize affordable housing?
So we conduct extensive community engagement. We have a group that we're partnering with here soon that does a lot of data research in different markets to understand specific needs. So we assess the community needs such as affordable housing, access to healthcare, educational opportunities, ensuring that our projects target key areas of community improvement. In city areas like Las Vegas, Nevada, we have a development we completed here, a revitalization project where the bus stop is literally like 1.5 short blocks away, which is extremely vital. It's like 7, 8 minutes from downtown Las Vegas. With the transit system that's in place at that particular property, 1735 North Rancho Drive, a person can take the bus and go anywhere in Nevada because it's a centrally located station, and they can connect to other routes that will allow them to get to where they need to go quickly. So bike route, it, for example, she was able to really get herself on track. And that was also one of our second chance housing stories, that she had had some problems previously with landlords, and she was not med compliant with mental health issues, and so she was able to get back on track. We were able to provide some second chance housing, work with her social worker, work with her case manager, and have a really good outcome. And she's been thriving for over a year now.
What are the main social impact metrics that Proactive tracks when evaluating success of an affordable housing project?
uh, our outcomes. So we have our Morningstar reports on impact, what we've done, our previous impact, our future impact, what we plan to do. We've measured through Morningstar Sustainalytics. Uh, Also, it'll be available on our website by this coming Tuesday, September 17th. We have an in-house impact report and also a 2-pager on our social impact, which will be available at proactiveimpactfunds.com. Again, the website is proactiveimpactfunds.com. You can register, you can download a link, and we're going to start to post some of our LinkedIn Live content there as well, uh, so that people don't miss out. Other some social impact metrics we use are, the level of community engagement, improvement in living standards to measure the success of our projects, feedback from local case managers, social workers, Catholic charities, veterans housing, Section 8 case managers. We have a Section 8 case manager coming out today or tomorrow. She hasn't confirmed exactly what appointment time here in Las Vegas, Nevada. To assess, the units that we have. She's very excited about the fact that we provide second chance housing. I cannot emphasize enough the barriers that an eviction can present. Um, a lack of rental history, especially if one has been unhoused or homeless for a period of time. For migrants, the undocumented who are in need of housing, they are often faced with a lot of barriers as well. Even when they have a social services program that they've worked with, that's gotten behind them, still it can present a real challenge.
How's Proactive secure financing for its affordable housing projects? And how do you ensure that your funding aligns with your social impact goals?
Yes. So our financial sustainability strategies in distressed areas and goals are that. So as I stated previously, I'm a large investor in our funds. Over 2.8 million. Uh, we maintain that by low operating costs, leveraging tax incentives, forming local partnerships to share project risk and benefits. Additionally, local talent. We always employ local people in the communities that we invest in. For social impact, we've had some really great outcomes there. Some of our financing can be initially high interest debt, just so that we get into a project and we don't miss out on the opportunity to provide social impact and cost savings benefits to our residents. And then as we stabilize that property more, we raise private equity or private debt from investors to take out the high interest debt and to continue with our mission of social impact housing.
Great. What strategies does Proactive employ to ensure financial sustainability for its projects, particularly on the economically distressed areas?
Again, like in the answer I gave before, sustainable strategies in distressed areas are, aside from myself, are purely investors who are in the social impact space and who'd like to get a return on their investment. However, would like to see a high return of social impact that's immediate and both, that's both immediate, sustainable, and economical for the resident that's in need of housing, a livable rent.
What's the typical timeline for revitalizing an affordable housing property from acquisition to tenant move in?
Uh, it is typical timeline is 90 to 120 days on average, or less. So when we have open units in the manufactured housing space, we're able to bring units in rapidly. Uh, in the multifamily space, we're able to renovate pretty rapidly. Say if we have a 100 plus unit apartment building that we need to do some renovations on, the existing residents that are there, uh, we move them to newly renovated units and then begin renovations on the older units or the units that need updating. Or if there was a slumlord there, you wouldn't believe how many slumlords we come across that just deferred maintenance is unbelievable. And so we update those properties. So 60, 90, or 100 days max. On average, 45 days, 4 to 6 weeks, we can have at least 5 to 10 families in a property with investment.
How does Proactive ensure that the revitalization process minimizes displacement of current residents and gentrification?
Resident retention, that's number one. We focus on resident retention by offering below market rents, at least 25% below market for those who are self-pay, and implementing community engagement programs that allow residents to play a role in the revitalization, minimizing the risk of displacement. Number one factor there, well, two things. So our belief at Proactive is that gentrification is the displacement, not just of one particular ethnicity or race, but the displacement of the low income population, period, bottom line for us. So we don't look at it as a black thing, a white thing, a Hispanic thing, Asian thing, an Indian thing, Indian American thing. We look at it as displacement of the low income. And some areas may have a higher concentration of certain ethnicities than others. However, for us, gentrification is synonymous with low income population. Uh, Go
How does
ahead.
Proactive measure the success of its revitalized properties beyond just providing affordable housing?
Employment rates, community cohesion, environmental sustainability metrics. In our social impact report from Morningstar Sustainalytics, we talk a lot about our sustainable development goals, SDGs. We talk about that in our in-house social impact report. So sustainable development goals number 11, 6, and 7, which is really important. And we allow residents to play a role in all of our projects and local people, sheriff's department, police department. We like people to be involved as much as possible. And again, we do the naturally occurring social impact affordable housing, those buildings that are viable, that a structural engineer has signed off and says, okay, this has a lifespan of another 50 years. Uh, and if it can be retrofitted if needed, we haven't encountered that yet. However, uh, that's where we are as it relates to that.
Hey, looking forward, Dr. Van, how does Proactive plan to scale its impact on affordable housing in the next 5 to 10 years?
Partnering with institutional investors, partnering with brokers, and different agencies that can bring us these deals and provide, uh, allow us to scale up at reasonable costs that we can pass those cost savings benefits on to residents. So we plan to scale up through our funds and investment. So our projects, we have right now 42 unit multifamily project in the pipeline. We have a 105 unit project in the pipeline, Indiana manufactured home park. The 42 unit is about 4 hours away in Harvey, Illinois. We have projects in Orangeburg, South Carolina, Greeleyville, South Carolina, Williamsburg County, South Carolina. We have a huge pipeline right now of deals and properties. Uh, we're just waiting on investment to continue scaling up. And as we continue to scale up, as we continue to prove ourselves, transparency, accountability, and all of that to investors as well as the brokers that we work with, deals come our way by the grace of God. We get some off market deals that are phenomenal. That we buy properties for 35, 40% or less of replacement costs to build a similarly situated property. And I know we've heard it's like, oh, we're going to build an affordable housing project. Unless the government 100% underwrites and subsidizes that mission, it's almost impossible to do so and have cost savings benefits and be able to house those at or above the poverty line. It's just, impossible. So unless you're a nonprofit or, some other factors come into play, it's just really, really difficult to provide a living rent to residents who are in most need, and especially the most vulnerable populations. When I hear of affordable housing, I hear of a lot of people who say, oh, it'll be 80% of the AMI. Ours is up to 80%. However, it typically falls 40 to 50%, if not a little slightly lower in certain areas, for those who have, based on their income.
Hey, last question here for you, Dr. Van. What legacy do you hope ProActive leaves in the communities where you operate, and how do you ensure that impact is long lasting?
Oh, great final question. So we aim to leave. Our work is to serve. Our mission is affordable housing, social impact. We have a nonprofit that's also coming out to hopefully, continue that mission of affordable housing, not just for what ProActive does, but for other organizations. It'll be a nonprofit for the public at large. One particular agency in one of our offerings, our profits above a certain level will go to several nonprofits. One will be Sorensen Impact Institute, which is a charitable organization, an impact agency that is absolutely phenomenal. They're doing God's work. They go into prisons. Excuse me. They go into prisons and work with people. They work with impact housing. They work with social services. They're in a community. They're really building lives and helping people to rebuild lives. So our legacy at ProActive is where residents not only have access to affordable housing, but also benefit from social services that improve their quality of life, that we can serve residents in a way that has wraparound services. And if there's something that we don't directly do, that's we can partner with an organization to facilitate that. So right now in life, in business, it's all about collaborations and partnerships, that you work well with other people and that you work to help people through different agencies and organizations as well as our own, and that we have a community focused governance and legacy. For us, to use a quote of Oprah Winfrey, is every life that you touch. It's not a one-stop type of deal. I did this one project, this will be my greatest legacy. No, it's every single life that you touch, that we're able to impact, to make a difference. And I myself, having grown up as a product of social impact, know that all too well. What it means to have a stable address, what it means to be able to go to one school, what it means to live in a community where even if there's no food at home, we could go across the street. My cousins and I, there was a park across the street in Berkeley called James Kennedy Park from my aunt's house. She lived at 906 Delaware, apartment C, and then apartment B for like 15, 16 years. She had Section 8. And because she had Section 8, that was a stabilizing force in my life. That we were able to go across the street. They had free breakfast program, free lunch program. They had after school programs. They had activities. They had counselors. They had, just wraparound services, people that really were engaged and cared about the outcomes of the youth that came over to the center.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Van. Um, how can we follow you, learn more about you and the Proactive Social Impact Funds and the offers that you have?
So we're on YouTube. We have a Proactive Social Impact following on YouTube, videos that are posted regularly, content. They can contact us at 803-989-8264, 803-989-8264, or 1-800-626-2089. Our website is proactiveimpactfunds.com, and they can reach us there.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Van. And we will see you next Thursday at 12:30 for our next LinkedIn Live.
I thank you, and I thank all the people who watch and who reach out. The last video that we did was I wasn't feeling the best. I had little allergies. However, we still had about 30 people to reach out, whether it was by phone or by email, after signing up on the website to get a copy of our impact reports. We have a 2-pager that will be out on our social impact fund. We also have a downloadable version of our in-house social impact report. And soon we'll have links to the books that are coming out that I've authored. So really excited about this LinkedIn Live and just how many people we've had, just an overwhelming, just a lot of people to reach out. And we're looking forward to the other folks that'll reach out who are interested in this space.
Thank you, Dr. Van, and you have a great week.
You too, sir.